Hey guys, it's King Steffi's channel. We're gonna be talking about how I found out I had multiple sclerosis. So, one day I went to school and I felt like a master headache and I wasn't feeling well. And so I kept on telling my mom that, Mom, I'm not feeling well. Do you see what I'm seeing? I'm not feeling well, Mom. And my mom was like, no, you need to go to school. 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 And so I told my best friend, I was like, Mom. And I told my best friend, I was talking to her about my mom. And I was like, my mom's not listening to me. And I told her that I had a master headache. And she was like, wow, your mom needs to listen to you. And so a couple of days, I had the headache and I had the headache. I had the headache. I had the headache. Around December, around around February, I went to this party and I was enjoying myself and I felt I couldn't see in my eyes. And I was like telling my mom, I ignored it. And so I would go lay down. I would go lay down and go rest and I still wouldn't feel good. And then the time I went to school, when I went to school, I told my nurse, I told my nurse, I told my teacher, not my nurse, I told my teacher that I wasn't feeling good. And my teacher would basically every day send me to the nurse because I wasn't feeling well. And so when I told my teacher let me go down to the nurse and they called my mom. And they told my mom to pick me up. But, my mom, she was being over dramatic and she didn't want to pick me up because she was going to work at that time. And so I was like, Mom, and I told her, and I told my mom that I wasn't feeling well. And she still wasn't listening. And so the next day I went back to the nurse and I told my nurse that, I can't see on this eye. And mind you, my eye rolled back so badly. It rolled back so badly where to the point I couldn't see it rolled back. And I was like, wow, it rolled back. It rolled back. And so it rolled back and I was like, Mom, my eye rolled back. And she didn't listen, And then my nurse called my mom. This is the interesting story. My nurse called my mom and she had to pick me up. The nurse was like, it looks like it's an emergency. You need to take her to the hospital. And soon my mom picked me up from school. She took me to the hospital. And my eye doctor told me that there's something wrong going on with her eye. And if you don't take her to the hospital, she might have a heart attack, Mind you, my mom wasn't being that stupid person that she is. My mom took me to the hospital. She took me to the emergency room that day. They took my blood pressure. They took everything. And I had to get put on with the gown and stuff. I stayed there at the hospital, taking medicine, eating and stuff. And so they told my mom that they're going to take me to do a MRI. And so when they took me to do, I even did like 5 or 7 MRIs just to find out what was going on. And when they took me to do those MRIs, I kept on doing it. But mind you, the MRI was so loud. It was so loud. And it was making mad noise. And I couldn't stand it. And my eye was hurting me at that point. So I did a whole month in the hospital. And then when I was at the hospital, it was so dramatic. And then there was a day that went past by. They called my mom and the doctors called my mom on the phone and I was left in the room. I was still 17 at this time. When the doctors called my mom in the room, my mom told me that she was coming back. And I told my mom, okay. But mind you, I was wondering why I was still in the hospital for so long, you know? Why I was in the hospital for so long. And when when my mom, when the doctors came in and they called my mom in the room, but I was on my phone, but I was still wondering what was going on. But when the doctors and my mom came back, this was the shocking news. They told me that I had multiple sclerosis. And that it broke my heart, and I was crying. The doctors told me that it was gonna be okay. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to feel at this point. I felt like so sad, I felt like everyone wasn't gonna look at me so different. And I spent a month, and I went to school in March. And when I came back, everyone was asking me, oh my God, what's wrong with you? And mind you, I gained a lot of weight. I was on a lot of medications, and I was like wondering why. Why was I on a lot of medication? I was like, wow. And when everybody would ask me about what is this disease about, I was so scared because I didn't want to talk about it. And I felt like if I talk about it, people would like basically bash me. And I didn't know how to feel. And I would go home like every day after school when I was in school. Every day after school crying and stuff to my mom. And my mom was like, it's okay. You have me. Don't put fear on no one. And I would just feel sad. And, it just was crazy. It just was crazy at that moment. And it was very, very shocking and sad. And like every 6 months, I have to take this medication in my arm every 6 months. And I have to like live with this for the rest of my life. And it's a big change for me, I didn't, at the moment, I didn't know headache could turn into a whole disease, I didn't know at this point a whole headache can turn into a whole disease for me. But at that moment, my life changed and my body changed. And it's like in the wintertime, it's hard for me because when it's really cold, my bones cannot handle it. And then when I go to the hospital every 6 months, I have to basically sit there for like a lot of hours taking this IV for this medication because my doctor told me that if I didn't take it, I can become in a wheelchair. And I'm still young, and I'm still young, and I still want to enjoy my life, I still want to enjoy my life. I still want to live through like a better life. And so I just want to treat myself healthy so I can be healthy. And yeah, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Bye. I'm in pain, wanna put 10 shots in my brain. I've been tripping about some things can't change. Switch on the same time, I'm tame, put your this in bag of the phone call.